Orioles fans and the baseball community alike have been bracing themselves for the possible debut of Jackson Holliday in the majors this year. With solid showings in the minors and spring training, it was looking like MLB's top prospect was going to get the call that every young baseball player dreams of and make his big league debut on opening day. But despite the rumblings of Holliday's debut, it didn't happen, leaving fans wondering why not. Well, according to Baltimore's general manager Mike Elias, Jackson needs more work at second, which, okay, that may be true. Jackson Holliday is used to playing short, so the switch to second might cause some issues. However, Elias also said Holliday needs to face more left-handed pitching, which again may be true, until you consider Jackson's first at-bat of the season when he did this against a lefty.
Under the guys of Elias. Swing and a high fly ball. Drilled long and deep.
So what's the real issue here? According to some fans, keeping Jackson Holliday in the minors has nothing to do with skill or lack of being ready, but everything to do with service time manipulation. Today, I'm going to dive into service time manipulation, what it means, how it's used, and what it means for Jackson Holliday. So stick around because this one is going to get ugly. First off, what the H even is service time? Basically, it's the clock that keeps track of how long a player has been in the bigs. If a player spends 172 days on an active roster or the injured list, they are awarded 1 year of service time. Now, why is service time important to players? Because the more service time players have, the easier access they have to things like contract negotiations and free agency. And this is where teams are able to manipulate a player's service time, ultimately giving them more control over a player's contract than initially intended. And saving money, of course, because by keeping a rookie in the minors for just 16 days after the start of the season, teams are able to add on an extra year to the initial contract. For instance, when a young Ronald Acuna Jr. was ready to make his debut, the Braves decided to wait until April 25th to bring him up. Why? Maybe he just needed about a month more of experience in the minors to be ready for the show, or by making Acuna wait until April 25th, this allowed the Braves to delay his free agency until 2025, thus extending his contract by a year with no additional fees for the Braves. And here's the messed up part. MLB can't really do anything about it. To make any real changes to service time manipulation, MLB would have to negotiate with the MLB Players Association, which we all know doesn't work out for the best most of the time. So obviously, service time manipulation isn't anything new or unique to Jackson Holliday. Teams and coaching staffs alike have been doing this for a long time. Take Evan Longoria, for example, in 2006. The Tampa Bay Rays took Evan in the first round that year as the third overall pick. And why wouldn't they? In his 2 years at Long Beach State, Longoria hit .336 with 144 hits and 73 RBIs. Those numbers were good enough for the Rays to pick him up and send him to the Hudson Valley Renegades, where he hit .424 with 4 homers. He had another great showing in the minors in 2007, hitting .299 with 26 home runs, 95 RBIs, and was no slouch during spring training in 2008. Taking all of this into consideration, everyone was sure Evan Longoria would make the opening day roster for Tampa Bay. But it was not to be. Instead, the Rays made a strategic move to keep Evan in the minors until April 12th. Doing so would not give Longoria a full year of service time in 2008 and not allow his free agency to kick in until after the 2014 season rather than the 2013 season. The Nationals did the same thing to Bryce Harper, despite being declared baseball's chosen one at just 16 years old, being selected first overall by the Nationals in 2010.
The Washington Nationals select Bryce Harper.
And stellar performances in the minors and spring training. The Nationals delayed calling Bryce up until April 25th, making him ineligible for free agency until 2018. Again, none of this is new or unique to any of these players. The Astros did it with George Springer in 2014, the Cubs with Chris Bryant in 2015. Even Vladimir Guerrero Jr. was a victim of service time manipulation in 2019. And this leads me to Jackson Holliday. Are the Orioles doing to Holliday what so many other teams have done to their top prospects in the past? Now, we do have to keep in mind Jackson Holliday is only 20 years old, and as Mike Elias has said, the Orioles would like to see Jackson get more reps at second and against left-handed pitching, which is a valid argument until you consider everything we've discussed so far. With a spring training that saw Jackson Holliday hit .311 with 14 hits, wouldn't it be better for him to fine-tune his skills at second and his eye against lefties in the majors? Or is this just a way for the Baltimore Orioles to get an extra year out of their young slugger? There's no way we can know for sure what the Orioles' management intentions are at the moment. Basically, what we have is the Orioles saying, he's not quite ready yet, and baseball fans saying, we know what you're really doing. Just put the kid in. And even if Baltimore is blatantly manipulating Jackson Holliday's service time, they'll never admit to it. They'll do the same thing other teams have done and say their player magically got ready for the bigs one day after being disqualified from getting their year of service time. So, what does all this mean for Jackson Holliday? Not much, really. There isn't anything he can do about it. If the Orioles call him up, they'll do so when he's not able to qualify for service time, or they'll just keep him in the minors for the year and maybe try this whole charade again next year. And don't look for anything to change anytime soon. Year after year, we baseball fans will get amped up for the next young gun to make his opening day debut, and it won't happen. Instead, the debut will take place sometime at the end of April during a 2 p.m. game on a Tuesday while we're all at work. Now I need to hear from you, though. Is Jackson Holliday truly not ready for the majors? Or are the Baltimore Orioles manipulating Jackson's service time like so many other teams have done in the past? Let me know in the comments down below, and don't forget to subscribe to Baseball Buzz.